Sonos first debuted the playbar in 2013. Since then, the company has introduced the Playbass in 2017 and the compact Beam soundbar in 2018. But for those who wanted a more robust arrangement with either a soundbar on its own or one paired with a sub and or satellite speakers, the playbar was still your best bet. However, that device is 7 years old, and with Sonos' history of rendering products obsolete, it was hard to justify paying hundreds of dollars for one. Enter the ARC, a completely redesigned soundbar that offers all of what we've come to expect from recent Sonos products, plus Dolby Atmos audio, and one potentially big headache. You can tell this is a drastically different device at first glance. The ARC looks more like modern Sonos gear instead of the gray and black two-tone units of the mid-2010s. It's an all-black or all-white soundbar with tone-on-tone Sonos lettering in the center of the front. That aesthetic choice continues a preference the company has had for a while, speakers that blend in rather than stand out. The ARC is nearly 10 inches wider than the playbar, 45 inches total, which is necessary to accommodate 2 additional drivers. But it's not quite as deep. Sonos also softened the design into a rounded cylinder instead of a boxy rectangle. The onboard controls were moved from the right side to the top center, and they're now touch instead of physical buttons. On the ARC itself, you can play pause, adjust volume, and swipe to skip tracks. There's also an option on the speaker to mute the microphones used for Alexa and Google Assistant voice controls. A set of tiny status LEDs above the Sonos logo give you some visual feedback, so you know when it's actually registering your commands. Lastly, the ARC's mounting hardware is on the back, so it's facing the same direction whether you put it on a TV stand or on the wall. Unlike the playbar, which pointed the speakers at you directly when mounted, but fired sound up at the ceiling when placed on the TV stand. An ARC-specific wall mount will cost you an extra $79 though. Like the Beam, your connectivity options are limited on the ARC. There's one HDMI port, an Ethernet jack, and the power input. It's enough to connect to your TV, but you're not going to hook up all your streaming boxes and game consoles directly to this soundbar. This is intentional. Sonos keeps things simple by using an HDMI output from your TV, which allows you to still use your television remote or a remote from a connected streaming device to control volume. Everything else is plugged into your TV, and the audio is routed via HDMI. ARC or eARC is required. There is an optical audio adapter in the box, but that won't do you much good if you're buying ARC for the Dolby Atmos compatibility. The main issue here is you'll need to make sure that your TV supports Dolby Atmos pass-through to ensure you'll get the sound quality you're seeking. Not all TVs are created equal here. If you have an HDMI eARC output though, you're golden. You'll get uncompressed 5.1 and 7.1 audio thanks to the higher bitrate. Similar to previous Sonos speakers, the ARC can calibrate itself to your living room with the company's TruePlay technology. With Sonos' S2 update, it now factors in height. Using the mic on an iOS device, the software tunes the speaker accordingly in just a few minutes. It's quick and easy, and just like the initial setup, the Sonos app provides clear directions the whole way. Inside, the ARC packs in 8 elliptical woofers and 3 angled tweeters. There's also 11 digital amplifiers that Sonos says are perfectly tuned for the speaker's acoustics. Those are all assigned dedicated left, right, and center channels alongside surround left, right, and upward firing audio to create an immersive experience in a 5.0.2 system. As part of the S2 firmware, a number of behind-the-scenes tricks automatically adjust to content, orientation, and additional speakers. If you're watching a movie or show that doesn't have Atmos, ARC will adjust the upward-firing speakers for improved bass. If you add a sub, which has also been updated, ARC will tweak its tuning for more mids and highs. And lastly, if you splurge for a pair of Sonos One speakers to go behind your couch, the surround channels in the ARC will be tasked with producing more low-end tone. Best of all of this happens without you having to do anything. While you can add extra Sonos gear to your setup as you see fit, the ARC is a massive sonic upgrade over the playbar. Even without Atmos, you can tell a huge difference in bass performance and directional sound. Of course, If you want the full-blown experience, or if you have a large living room, you might want to consider extra purchases. However, most people won't need it. Plenty of soundbars offer Dolby Atmos support, but the ARC also doubles as a great sounding speaker for music. In fact, I was impressed with the bass performance of the soundbar itself when it came to streaming Spotify and Tidal. I've tested soundbars with a dedicated sub that didn't sound this good. There's enough low end to handle hip-hop and other bass-focused genres with ease, but it's also restrained enough to help you avoid annoying your neighbors, to a certain extent. Sure, the sub adds more thump, but again, most users will do just fine with the ARC on its own. If you aren't happy with the factory tuning, the SONOS app offers an adjustable EQ. Here, you can tweak bass and treble, or turn on loudness, which adjusts certain frequencies that might get lost when listening at lower volumes. You can also deactivate the TruePlay tuning or retune as needed, like if you add more speakers. When you're watching TV, there are two handy features. Night mode increases quiet sounds and reduces the loud ones, while speech enhancement focuses on dialogue by enhancing the audio frequencies associated with the human voice. In terms of content, you can sync streaming services like Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, and more. Apps like Pocket Casts and Calm are also on the list, so you can get access to much more than music. Plus, there's Sonos Radio, which provides streams of radio stations and original content. Basically, the Sonos app can be your one-stop media library. And we haven't even discussed voice control yet. Like previous Sonos speakers, the ARC works with either Alexa or Google Assistant. Thanks to 4 far-field beam-forming microphones and echo cancellation, those two voice technologies can turn on the TV, adjust the volume, or handle any of their regular duties, even while something is playing. At $799, ARC is a significant investment. As I've already mentioned, that's $100 more than the playbar, and Sonos no longer offers the play bass. If you aren't interested in Atmos, and you don't mind some sonic sacrifices, the Beam is still a solid option at $399. It only has a single HDMI jack as well, so you'll need to keep that in mind. If you're buying a la carte, adding the new 3rd gen sub will cost you $699, and a 2-pack of 1 SL speakers is $358. Sonos does offer bundles with either a sub or a sub and 2 SLs for $1498 and $1856 respectively. Some quick math will tell you there's no discount for buying in bulk, so if you're unsure about committing extra funds, waiting doesn't cost you more. The Sonos ARC is a much needed upgrade to the playbar many of us have been clamoring for. Dolby Atmos support makes the company's flagship soundbar more immersive, if you have the right TV to accommodate it. The single HDMI jack will be a disappointment to many looking for all the detail and directional audio Atmos offers without having to sacrifice a port or having to upgrade to a more recent TV. Still, ARC works well as both a soundbar and a speaker, and the device will fit nicely with recent Sonos gear you might already have for a multi-room audio setup. There's plenty to love, but at least one more HDMI port would have made this a truly outstanding product. Instead, you'll have to do some research to ensure you can use the ARC to its fullest potential. Tap that subscribe button so you'll know when all the must-have home theater gear arrives.